what is your piece of advice for somebody who's looking for a good school? What should they look out for in a good school? What is so special about CBSE and how does it have an edge over other syllabus? The Sri Universal School, how do you plan to ensure that there is fine balance between the academic excellence and also the co-curricular activities in the school? Hi, welcome to Slate, your very own school search engine that helps you find the best schools for your kid based on various filters and parameters. Today, we have Ms. Shylaja Menon, who is the principal for the Sri Universal School in North Bangalore. Let's speak to her and understand more about her journey and the usual concerns and questions that parents are likely to have while joining their kid in a CBSE school. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for giving us your time. Ma'am, to begin with, parents will have a lot of apprehensions and questions while joining their kid. What is your piece of advice for somebody who's looking for a good school? What should they look out for in a good school?
Yeah, it's very, very essential that parents raise umpteen number of questions to the school leader. Yeah, primarily the focus should revolve around holistic development in every child. And as parents today, are well exposed and well read. So they certainly understand a lot about curriculum, the pedagogy, and the approaches. So when they are at the school, inquiring for a seat, they should explore all the avenues and the focus areas of the school. And primarily the key differentiators, because as a parent, you always wish to offer your child the best. Are schools really facilitating learning? So that should be the key word for a parent. And identify the right school which facilitates that high quality of learning, which brings in turn, the holistic development for every child.
Fantastic. And the other usual concern that a lot of parents have is what syllabus to choose. You have CBSE, you have IB, and not every parent is well versed with what is there in each of these syllabus. Since Sri Universal School took up CBSE as their syllabus, what is so special about CBSE and how does it have an edge over other syllabus?
Yeah, when we talk in terms of parents having that confusion to choose this stream of learning, it's one of the core area of focus for any educator. And largely in Sriram group of schools, we run several parents workshops. Primarily, our focus always revolves around the EYP sector parents, because when your child graduates from pre-primary to grade 1, that's when this shift of domain and parents have this they are perplexed about whether which stream of learning should my child get into. Should my child be part of, IB, IGCSE, CBSE, or a state board, or an ICSE stream of learning? So several occasions in almost all our schools, as school leaders and educationists, we run parents workshop trying to, ask them for multiple streams of interest, and then we orient them about the special edges, unique features for each of the stream of learning. So as a parent, if you're looking at your child being part of a large community and you're looking at your child participating in all the national level competitive examinations like CETA, Triple E, NEET, so on and so forth, then your focus should be for a CBSE stream of learning. But if that isn't the case and your focus is on, child bringing in the best for whatever is a learning quantum for languages, then the other streams of learning come into effect.
Got it.
Considering all the options, I think primarily the national curriculum framework is well empowered to bring in this holistic identity to every child. So a lot revolves around the curriculum, the pedagogy, and the teaching learning approaches in any good school.
Yeah, that's an interesting answer. And ma'am, with your experience, how difficult or easy is it going to be for a child to shift from CBSE to IB or IGCSE to CBSE? So is this transformation easy for every student or is it difficult?
There can be no challenges at all for a child who's part and parcel of CBSE curriculum, because CBSE curriculum is extremely experiential in nature, and the curriculum, the pedagogy, and the learning trends are at higher levels because we believe in practical based teaching learning pedagogy, and primarily in A-level schools like Sriram group of schools. We always focus on the philosophy that every child is born with his or her own identity. There is a uniqueness to every child. This is the philosophy that governs any pedagogy. So it's important that we customize learning to children and optimize their potential at all times. So in any stream of learning, shift of domain becomes a challenge if the child is not exposed to experiential learning trend. It's gone are those days where traditional methods worked in schools.
Got it.
See, the traditional methods of rote memorization, memory retention are not the skills that schools focus on. With NEP in place, the entire focus is on experiential learning trend. In the foundational years, we largely talk about the cognitive developmental milestone of a child aligning very, very well with the physiological developmental milestone. So there should be a synergy between the two, and only then can there be effective learning in
Got
any
it.
child.
Got it. Ma'am, since you got up that rote memorization or rote learning subject, I'm a little curious to know how students' performance is gauged or analyzed or evaluated these days. Is it any different from what it used to be back then when I was studying the typical examination pattern? Is it same or is it any different these days?
Yes, there is a world of difference, Santan. I would love to talk about it as well. One is, learning is nothing but acquisition of knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not just knowledge, but also skills.
true.
Only if the school is making conscious effort to bring in a convergence between knowledge and skills can there be real learning. So
Got
this
it.
convergence is again by default a way of life for schools where they are following their own curriculum and their approach and pedagogy, wherein the teachers are empowered to bring in the skill sets in children. So whenever we talk about testing systems, we always focus on not just on knowledge but also a lot on logic, reason, application, analysis, and synthesis. These are the skill sets that any competitive assessment will test. And unless and until children are groomed for these skill sets in the foundational years, typically the formative years, outcome would be good if they have been exposed to the skill sets and there is a strategic planning and an approach in the curriculum of that school that children get empowered. And that's also another reason you see some schools excelling in terms of academic achievement or holistic development because they have their key differentiators in place.
And like you rightly said, academic excellence or extracurricular activities. But for a lot of parents, it's no more or, it has to be and. So uh, at the Sriram Universal School, how do you plan to ensure that there is fine balance between the academic excellence and also the co-curricular activities in the school?
Yeah, we very firmly believe in this unique identity in every child. So we always customize learning and skills to each of them. So when we talk in terms of holistic development besides academics, yeah, because when holistic development is a key focus area of a school like Sriram Universal School, the academic excellence falls into place by default. So we don't require to bring in a conscious effort to get children to be academically oriented. Our curriculum is well equipped and also it's experiential in nature. Besides this, children are exposed to multiple activities. Like, if I talk about their activities in the field relative activities, sports relative activities, we have an athletic track, which is Olympic size athletic track. We
Fantastic.
also have a skating rink, a swimming pool, a splash pool, a taekwondo area, then robotics lab, and tennis court, cricket pitch, and general play area, besides, an indoor auditorium and also a studio and language labs. besides the robotic labs. So with children, a typical day of a child in the Sriram Universal School will focus on the child striking a balance between the academic and holistic development, because every academic slot will be alternated with another activity. So when the child is back from, say, to cite an example from Cambridge English or English language class, and then gets into, the sport relative activity and goes back for a public speaking class, then the child is empowered already, synergized to reap optimum benefit in public speaking class. These are all essential skills, life skills for the child today, for anybody today.
Got it.
So I think there has to be a very conscious effort to strike a balance between the co-scholastic activities and the academic activities. And even the academic activities, gone are those days where, just structured, learning occurred. The facilitator has to optimize by using multiple pedagogical tools like visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and tactile approach to teaching learning pedagogy. And they should also be actively involved, and that creating that positive climate in a classroom, a cordial environment, engaging them productively, are all the key differentiators of any good school.
I can't agree more with you in terms of the kind of climate that you want to create and how important it is. And ma'am, speaking about the admission cycle, which time of the year you think a parent should start looking for a school? And here at the Shriram Universal School, when should the parent approach you, and what is the admission cycle like?
Typically, for us, this academic session, that is academic session 23-24, is year zero. Though the students are not with us, our calendar year one, without students is already begun. So the admission process, we are actually overwhelmed with the number of admissions and the seats that are availed already in the Sriram Universal School. So typically a calendar year, an academic year, the admissions open as early as the 1st of September. And it extends until the mid of Jan. In certain levels, where there are multiple batches and multiple sections, then the admission stands open for some more time. Otherwise, the filtering process, the numbering, seat allocations, everything goes in tandem between the month of September extending until Jan. We also keep a few seats reserved because these interim admissions have to be, it's a mandate for any good school. Where the army, navy, and defense, wherever they get their transfer, certain percentage of seats are allotted for them, so those remain open.
Got it.
Then the sibling preferences are given,
Yeah.
where we really believe in parents' comfort levels, because if the younger child is also in the same school, then the holidays don't clash, the entire system for the family remains intact, so we give preferences on these.
Absolutely. That's so nice, ma'am. Thank you so much for coming forward and sharing all these thoughts. It will be of great help for parents who are looking for good schools in your locality. And before we conclude, heartfelt congratulations on starting a new school. It's a great initiative. And on behalf of Yellow Slate and the entire Yellow Slate team, we wish a very big success in this entire journey of starting a new school and growing it to heights, ma'am. Thank you very much for your time. In our next videos, we look forward to speaking to you on many more topics like NEP and so many other things. And until then, for all the audience, stay tuned to know more updates about the Sriram Universal School. Thank you so much, ma'am.